The wind doesn't sound like it used to. It's harsher now, angrier, howling through the broken remains of a city that once pulsed with life. Skyscrapers, now skeletal, loom over silent streets drowned in dust. A faceless figure walks alone, wrapped in a protective suit, boots crunching over cracked pavement where weeds once dared to grow. The year is 2124, and Earth isn't dying anymore. It's almost dead. Decades of warnings were ignored. The oceans rose first, quietly, persistently, devouring coastlines and forcing millions to migrate inland. Governments fell, borders dissolved. What began as climate change became something more sinister: collapse. Crops failed under scorched skies. Fresh water turned to currency. Power grids blinked out as demand overwhelmed supply, and the AI systems meant to fix it all failed. Some say sabotaged, others say inevitable. Earth became a battlefield for survival, not between countries but between classes. The wealthy built bunkers and domes, small utopias sealed from the chaos. The rest were left behind, scavenging ruins under acid rain and the permanent hum of drone surveillance. The figure stops at what used to be a school. Its roof has caved in, desks lie overturned and rusted. A child's drawing flutters by, faded, crayon suns and stick figures holding hands. For a moment, the figure doesn't move, just stares, maybe remembering, maybe imagining. The air outside the suite is unbreathable now in most zones, not just from pollution, but from microscopic pathogens that mutated in the heat and filth. A single breath could mean death in minutes, but not everyone gave up. Underground, in hidden labs and climate sanctuaries, pockets of scientists and visionaries kept fighting. They developed artificial ecosystems, seeded cloud layers, built vertical farms that stretched into the atmosphere like glass towers of hope. They whispered of a second chance for Earth if only they had time. But time is the one thing Earth never gave. Some believe the planet is conscious, punishing its tenants. Others believe this is just nature balancing itself, finally rejecting the parasite it hosted too long. The figure reaches a plateau overlooking the valley. Once this was a forest, lush, humming with birds and insects. Now it's a cracked basin of ash, stretching into a grey horizon. The silence is loud. A distant hum grows louder. A solar-powered freight drone passes overhead, heading toward a distant biodome. The figure watches it vanish behind a hill of charred stone, then turns back toward the road. Their journey isn't over. They're heading to the last known Earth preservation zone, where rumors speak of greenery, real soil, and maybe, just maybe, renewal. Yet, the deeper truth haunts every step. Humanity did this. Every choice, every ignored warning, every convenience, over consequence. Earth isn't just broken, it's betrayed. And now the survivors walk its remains like ghosts, haunted not by what they lost, but by what they refused to protect. The silence on Mars is absolute. There's no breeze, no birdsong, no hum of nature. Only the low mechanical thrum of life support systems, the rhythmic hiss of airlocks, and the soft crunch of boots on red dust. Outside the dome, nothing lives, nothing grows. Yet inside, humanity clings to survival like a match trying not to go out in a storm. It started with hope. Earth was burning, and Mars represented the great escape, the backup plan. The first colonists were heroes to some, traitors to others. Chosen for their resilience, intelligence, and willingness to die, they boarded ships not knowing if they'd land or explode. Many didn't make it. Some disappeared en route, others crashed in storms they didn't predict. But a few did survive. They built the first outposts with bleeding fingers and breaking spirits. Water was extracted from rock. Crops were grown under UV lamps. Oxygen was rationed like gold. Every breath became sacred. Every sunrise a miracle seen through synthetic windows. A faceless figure drags a supply crate across a corridor lined with flickering lights. The Martian base is aging. Cracks form faster than they can be sealed. The air feels thinner today. They glance at a screen. Oxygen levels dropping again. Power output is low. Solar storms are expected by nightfall. The figure doesn't panic. Panic is a luxury no one can afford on Mars. Here, fear is quiet, and death is always watching. Colonization wasn't just physical, it was psychological warfare. Minds fractured under isolation. Children born on Mars grew up without sky, without rivers, without animals. Some have never seen the color green outside of digital screens. The word home lost its meaning. Earth became a myth, a poisoned paradise in old documentaries. Many of the young don't even want to return. Mars is all they know, and despite its hostility, they are beginning to shape it into something new, something alien. But even here, human nature followed. Power struggles erupted. Resource control became political. Mars was supposed to be a clean slate, but the same lines were drawn. New leaders emerged, some visionary, others tyrannical. Entire sectors went dark during the last power ration. No one speaks of what happened inside. Silence is the only currency that still holds value. The figure looks out at the horizon. Dust devils dance over a crimson wasteland, beneath a sun far colder than Earth's. In the distance, a rover returns, carrying samples from the newly discovered ice caverns. Maybe there's more water, maybe not. Either way, the mission continues. Because survival here isn't just a challenge, it's a declaration. Humanity didn't come to Mars to escape Earth. They came to defy extinction. Yet with every step, with every innovation and compromise, one question remains. Is this survival, or is it surrender? They may be breathing, building, even dreaming. But no tree grows here, no rain falls, and somewhere in the silence, Mars itself seems to whisper, "You don't belong." A decision hangs in the air like a storm waiting to break. Earth is no longer safe, but Mars is far from salvation. Two worlds, one dying, the other unwelcoming, hold the last fragments of a fractured species. The faceless voices of humanity are split, debating across digital networks, encrypted messages, and whispered conversations in underground bunkers and Martian domes. There is no consensus, only urgency. Time is running out, and the question is no longer theoretical. Stay and rebuild, flee and adapt, or face the void. On Earth, a resistance remains, not the kind with weapons, but with seeds, science, and stubbornness. Deep beneath the surface, hidden in geothermal-powered shelters, researchers and bioengineers fight to reverse what centuries of neglect caused. They've revived extinct plant species from frozen DNA, purified contaminated rivers with microbots, and even begun restoring sections of the ozone. Earth still breathes, faintly, but it breathes. For them, giving up is betrayal. They believe Earth doesn't need replacing, it needs redemption. Meanwhile, on Mars, a new generation is emerging. They were born in domes, raised on recycled air and synthetic food. They've never seen a real sunset, never touched grass, never tasted rain. And yet, to them, Mars isn't exile, it's origin. They don't dream of Earth. They dream of terraforming, of making Mars into something their own. They design cities that rise like crystals from the dust, plan underground forests, and code systems that predict solar flares down to the second. They speak a new dialect, walk with Martian gravity in their bones, and look back at Earth the way ancient civilizations once looked at lost gods, distant, mythic, irrelevant. The divide grows. Earth's survivors argue that healing is possible, that running is cowardice. Martian pioneers say the past is a cage, and Mars is a blank page. Between them lies the risk of extinction. If they don't unify, neither path may survive. Resources are scarce, transport is dangerous, communication delays stretch into minutes, sometimes hours. Misunderstandings can mean disaster. In one chilling moment, a message is sent from Earth to Mars. It travels across space in silence, encrypted and brief. Remember who we are. Some take it as a plea, others as a warning. It becomes a slogan, a protest, a movement. On both worlds, factions form. Some Earth-based scientists plan to send volunteers to Mars, not to stay, but to bridge the gap, to share solutions. Some Martian leaders debate returning to Earth, if only to help restart its atmosphere. The faceless figure now stands in a room where both worlds can be seen, Earth through a satellite feed, swirling with violent storms, and Mars through a glass window, silent and still. Behind them, children learn in a hybrid classroom, Martian-born and Earth-rescued, their future uncertain but shared.